Hi, my name is Alec Arons, and I am a director with Experis Finance based in Philadelphia and a member of the Philadelphia chapter of the IIA and its incoming president. Well, it's been an interesting 6 months as I've been working with my clients, getting them through the end of 2013 and preparing for COSO 2014. And when I look at all of the activity that happened with the external audits at the end of last year, I see a lot of synergy between that and what's happening now with COSO 2013, because as I see it in the broadest view, it's about getting management to own its controls and to demonstrate that those controls are present, functioning, effective, and that the people that are operating those controls understand what their responsibility is. Too often in my work, I hear my clients coming back to me and saying, well, that's your control, or that's our external auditor's control. No, at the end of the day, it's management's control, and I think management is beginning to grasp and understand that they need to take ownership, and it may be time to tighten up the documentation and really assess their processes and do what they need to do to be in compliance and more comfortable. Well, they're all following the traditional approach. They're looking at going through and doing a mapping of their entity level controls to each one of the principals. They're identifying the potential gaps, and we're talking about remediation, and we're looking at the results of their year-end audits and the comments of their external auditors, and quite frankly, some of the struggles they had in terms of achieving the documentation that was required to get to the end of the year as a starting point for them going out now and doing their 2013 compliance program. Well, it would come as no surprise, I suppose, that those companies that have well-documented processes, the process owners truly own the controls, management owns the controls, they're having a much easier time. They're looking at their entity level controls. There may be some additional entity level controls that they need to consider that they previously hadn't been for SOX. But I also have other clients who haven't been as diligent, let's say, in keeping their documentation up to date. And those companies now are going through a process as they do their gap analysis of looking at where they need to update their documentation, using the principles as well as the points of focus to make sure that their documentation reflects what they're actually doing, and what's happening is happening at a level that would be expected in terms of the knowledge of the people performing the work, the level of precision that goes into doing the reviews, as well as ultimately the accuracy of the data, completeness of the data that they're using to make those journal entries and other financial decisions. Well, I think that a lot of companies, when you talk to management and they've come off of a tough audit year, roll their eyes, take a deep breath and say, something else we need to do. Well, I certainly understand SOX fatigue. Over the course of my career, I've been fatigued by SOX too, but I think people need to look at this as a good thing. You know, this is an opportunity, particularly for those of us in the internal audit profession, to get something accomplished that we've been talking about getting accomplished for several years. Management's controls, management needs to own those controls. So here is an opportunity for us to assist them, to help our audit committees understand where management is in their process, and ultimately get back to those audit committees and boards and indicate to them that management has indeed, where they may not have been in the past, accepted responsibility for the controls, and that they're testing them, they're effective, and they meet the standards of COSO 2013. And for those companies that have been doing a good job all along, this should be a simpler process, but a process nonetheless. And at the end of the day, those organizations, those boards and stakeholders should feel comfortable that the control environments in their organizations are functioning effectively.